these are archery tag arrows. If you've not heard of archery tag, it's basically something that you can just put onto a regular arrow that you can shoot with real bows at people, almost like paintball or Nerf. Now the reason that I did, some finger quotes here when I said archery tag is because archery tag, is a good way to refer to whatever the game or the sport that this is, but it's actually a branded name. It's trademarked, and these are knockoffs from Asia, so they're not actually archery tag arrows. Which brings us to the point of this video. These are just over about $3 a pop, which is by no means cheap, but is much, much cheaper than the name brand ones that you can buy from archery tag. I wanted to put this through a few tests just to see what it will do, if it will fail, before I start really shooting it at my friends. And so this was the only one I've tested so far. You can see this is the small little part that screws into the arrow insert. It's made of about at least 3 separate pieces of foam. So you have a very soft foam at the tip. 2 pieces of foam are made by similar rigidity to each other, but much more firm than the front. Now I've shot this one about 6 times so far, which is not very many times. And already you can see that the metal insert is becoming loose inside. So it is at least seeming to be pushing its way through the foam, and you don't want to end up in a situation where it's going to pierce through the foam and have that weight and that pointy piece of metal, or piece of metal regardless, I don't know what it looks like yet, go through the foam and hit your human target. That would be a bummer. The actual end of this insert is flattened out a fair amount. It's about the size of a dime, I would say. Definitely would still hurt to get hit with it, but it probably would not puncture the skin, even if it made through. Again, I think we can upgrade this a little bit to make it safer. Now the first thing I'm going to note is that this piece, this flattening piece that inserts onto the end, this should definitely be glued into this. This piece actually screws on and off to the arrow, and I've already shown that this piece does not necessarily stay 100% tight into the body of the cone here. So this could totally work its way off, either where the tip would fall off altogether or this piece would somehow push past it. But this indent in the middle is where this portion had sat, and just after being shot about 6 times was already making a noticeable depression into the foam right there. It was already starting to tear at the sides and push in. You could actually put something that is rigid and hard in between these 2 layers, so that the metal is going to have something much larger to push against. Maybe an 1/8 of an inch of plexiglass or something like that. Or I don't really want to have to cut all of these open to re-glue them. So the easiest idea that I've come up with so far is make a small washer that will fit onto the end of this, and then once you screw it into the arrow, like so, you can see that it still gets plenty of purchase on there. There's going to be a secondary level of this metal right here that's going to be pushing on the back of this cone piece. So essentially it has the same diameter of metal as the part that's up here that's pushing against the foam, but it's going to be pushing against 2 different pieces of foam at once. Got the first finished prototype fix here. A set of, I think, 3 slightly different sized washers that's being sandwiched between the arrow and the other washers, so that all that force from the arrow is being distributed onto the back of this foam cone, as well as the piece that is still embedded on the inside. Right now we've got my original Pvc bow. Right now it's strung up to about 40-pound draw, and we've got the newly modified archery tag arrow, and we're going to be shooting it basically not exactly point blank, but pretty close to that wood target right there. So this is going to be essentially a worst case scenario, because these are only really rated for up to about 30 or 35 pound draw. It's looking really pretty good. I feel like at this point I can say pretty confidently that the very simple washer modification I made on the back here is making a big difference. Before, when I tested the original one of these arrowheads, it took maybe 3 or 4 shots before it started to show some serious problems arising. And this has already been shot, you know, about 18 times, 20 times, into what essentially is a worst case scenario. And it doesn't seem to be having any problems. So if you guys want to buy some of these arrows, I will put the link down below. Definitely check them out. It's pretty fun, but I would recommend doing either this mod or something else to make sure that they can last and that you won't hurt your friends. Hopefully in the future I can get some gameplay footage whenever we go out to the park or find some of these property to play on. I can make some more Pvc bows. It should be a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give me a like and a subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.